that you turn your Bibles on Psalms 24. Psalms 24. The earth is the Lord's, and all his fullness, the world and those who dwell therein. For he has founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the waters. Who may ascend into the hill of the Lord? And who may stand in his glory, in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to idols and sworn deceitfully. He shall receive the blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face. Selah. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be lifted up, you everlasting doors. And the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates. Lift up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. Hallelujah. Give him a hand clap of praise. Listen, every Sunday we have these notes of the sermon available for you at the bookstore table. And these are very valuable, I think. And you can perforate it, put them in a binder, and keep it for reference for Bible study. There's a brother here that has the studies since 1972. Right, Will? Yes. Something like that. Matter of fact, he told me, if you ever lose one, just come to me. I'll give you one of your sermons. So, you know, you need to learn, we need to learn how to value things. And it's not because Pastor prepared, but because it's the Word and it's explained to us. They also are available. This is what the home Bible studies used to teach during the week. Introduction. Jesus came to this world. He suffered for us, was crucified for our transgressions, resurrected, and now Jesus is exalted in glory. He came, he humbled himself, he became a servant. After his work was completed, he ascended to the Father. And now, today, here as individuals and as a church, we are waiting for the coming of Jesus Christ again. Hallelujah. The generation that seeks him, Psalms 24, 5 and 6, he shall receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face. Now, as we look into Psalms 24, it's interesting because I have read it many times, but as I was getting ready for this sermon, I was noticing the content of Psalms 24. In the first two verses, it speaks of how God created the heavens and the earth. And then on the third, fourth, and sixth verse, he says, who will be in his mountain? What is his mountain? Zion, the holy mountain, is not referring to the mountain ascend? Who will be with God? Who will worship Him? And then from verses 3 to 6, he says, this generation, the generation of Jacob, will see God. And then from 7 to 10 comes the exaltation. The King of glory. Jesus, the King of glory. The generation that seeks Him. This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek Him. Now, Isaac had two sons, twins. The name of the first was Esau, and the name of the second was Jacob. And then from there, from those three sons, comes the two generations. And one is the generation or descendants of Esau, and the other one is a generation, the descendants of Jacob. And let me read from the notes here. It says, Esau despised the blessing that was given by God to him for being the firstborn, and was satisfied with a bowl of stew. So Esau was born first. He had the blessing of the firstborn, and all the rights and all the privileges of a firstborn, which in those days was very, very valuable. Remember in the prodigal sons? The firstborn stayed in the house and the minor left. And when the older son gets angry, he says, son, everything I have here is yours. You're the firstborn. Look at it this way, your brother was dead and is alive, was lost and is found, but everything I have here is yours because you're the firstborn. So Esau, being the twin that was born first, he had all the rights, all the blessings of his father. However, he despised it. He rejected what was given to him. He did not appreciate. There's a problem of us, human nature, that we don't appreciate the things we have. Some do, some don't. Notice that we pass out Bibles to the new people, but those are back Bibles. There's economical Bibles. And sometimes we find them outside in the parking lot or everywhere, And when a person gets really, really into the faith, into the confession, into really, what they do, they go to the bookstore and they get a leather Bible, $40, $60 Bible, and those you don't find in the attic. Those are treasure. And many times, God gives blessing to us, and we don't appreciate the blessings we have. You gotta love your wife, your husband, your children. Be grateful with what you have. Appreciate. That's your blessing for your life. Learn to be appreciative of what you have. Here we have Esau. One time he was a hunter. And he came from the